Hey guys, I'll be doing a tarantula video today all about what tarantula is suited to you and what is suited to the arrangements that you can hold a tarantula. If you're wanting to get a tarantula or you're just researching to see what they're about, this is probably a good video for you guys. Thanks for clicking on this video and thanks for watching. The first group I'm covering today is ground-based spiders, or terrestrial spiders, which is what that means. Some of them may be a bit more semi-arboreal, like I know that the Eluphrius SP Red that is showing now is a little bit more arboreal than normal, but it's basically just the cheaper spiders that are less decorative. Some of them can be more expensive than arboreal spiders, but these guys are usually easier to care for and easier to spend money on, basically. They don't take that much money to buy a more ground-based vivarium. You can even keep these guys in like storage container boxes as long as they're well ventilated, and these guys really don't need anything at all. They just usually need water, something to kind of climb on if they want to, and a hide. Now, arboreal spiders usually just need wooden things, but because I'm focusing on terrestrials, these guys do a lot more burrowing than arboreal spiders. They'll dig a lot more, and sometimes they'll just catch you. You just turn around if you're looking at one, and they'll be digging, and you'll wonder why. And sometimes these behavioural patterns just will have no reason for it. And I mean, they usually spend either half of their time just skulking around doing nothing or stalking prey if you put it in there, or they'll just be hiding in their hollow log, which is usually a hide, or whatever you have for a hide. Now, some people get scared by the kind of stalking legs out in the darkness sort of motif, which is kind of a fallacy, but to be honest, they're just mucking about, they're just having a bit of fun, maybe exploring. But the one thing that people don't like is when they jump out and they're suddenly right there when you look away, because they don't like to be looked at when they're moving. I've already mentioned that they can stay in storage containers, but most of them do better in something like this. This is actually a spider kit from Exoterra. I don't think it's around anymore, but it shows you just how sort of cheaply you can run them. I'd actually recommend not to go, depending on where you live, not to go with a heat mat, because most spiders can live at room temperature, which is another good factor to why they're quite cheap to own. These are still cheap though, even with or without all the accessories. I keep my chili flame at the moment in a PT2612. Which is, as you can see on this, it's quite expensive, it's made out of glass, it's a bit of a higher quality vivarium, and you can reuse them. I personally don't prefer plastic vivs, and I think that they climb better on glass, but it all depends on what you have to spend. I'm going to be reviewing quite a few terrestrial spiders, but I'm going to be reviewing them by how similar they are. Now the first one that I'm going to be starting with is the most common spider in the species, which is Ramscistola rosea, or the Chilean rosehair tarantula. Next we have the icon, the Mexican red-knee tarantula. The only difference between a Chile is of course the species, the fact that the Mexican will kick more hairs and is a little bit less docile, but to be honest their care is pretty much the same. This is Brachythelma smithi and they're a very good starter tarantula, just like the Chile. Some people recommend one or the other more, I let it up to the person who buys. Now for the Grammastostola pulchra. The Brazilian black tarantula is the common name, but these guys I have on good authority and I've had a few experience with them, and they say that they are the best beginner tarantula. Only problem with them is they're not very good at handling. Now these guys are pretty much the same as the Chile Rose, just a bit more docile and a bit more inquisitive, but again the only thing that lets them down is that handling issue. The only difference between these spiders in case of setup is their price. Like, if you go for a Chile Rose, you're going to have enough, depending on your budget, to go for quite a good setup and vivarium, but if you go for something like the Brazilian Black, you're going to have less money to throw around after you've actually bought the spider, again, depending on your budget. Depending on your budget, you might want to spend more on the setup than you do on the spider. Now, a Chile Rose will leave you a lot to do this because they're somewhere between 15 to 20 pounds usually, depending on the morph they can reach to 30. A Brazilian Black is going to cost you about 70 to 75 pounds at a good pet shop, which is going to leave not a lot, and kind of in the middle is the Mexican red-knee, which is going to be somewhere between 50 to 60 pounds. Now, depending on brands and how much you want to spend on the enclosure and your budget, you can kind of dabble between what you're going to do and make your own plans. I'm just here to advise. Here comes feeding, and only problem with Chiles and feeding, which kind of singles them out from all of the others, is they don't usually feed. I mean, they can fast for weeks, months, and even years. And when they do eat, you're only going to see them walking around with a locust in their mouth. They're not very strike there and then feeders. Like other spiders I can mention, they're quite a boring feeder. Whereas usually a Mexican red-knee or a Brazilian black will run straight up to the prey item, be it locust, be it brooch, be it cricket, and they will just snap it straight up and eat it right in front of you, which is a very high adrenaline, very interesting, very hard-paced thing to watch, which is quite brilliant if you like to watch animals feeding. And after watching a Chile feed, it can be quite a sort of negative experience, you know? Another negative for Chiles is their mood swings. I mean, they can be looking quite normal sometimes, and then they can turn around and they can put both things in your hand and have no reason for it, whereas other tarantulas would usually just kick hairs. The last criticism for chilies, if you will, is their lifespan. Whereas a female Mexican red-knee tarantula has been known to live up to 30 years, a chili rose will live maybe 10 to 20 if you're lucky. Apart from the feeding, which is absolutely common with these animals, the other things are quite rare. Now, these guys, don't get me wrong, they're an awesome spider, but as most people say, they are not the best beginner spider in any way. They are quite a hard spider to get feeding, they can be worrying, but they are an awesome spider to have, and if you want one, go for it. I mean, they are an excellent spider, and I'm not gonna advise you not to get them, they're just not the best. Now, for the most famous of all spiders, featured in books, magazines, and calendars everywhere, is the Mexican red-knee. Only problem with these guys is the hair kicking. It's an absolute pain in the ass. When they kick hairs, they vibrate their leg against their back and they shoot the sharp hairs which irritate your skin straight into hands or whatever's in the way of them. This is when they get agitated. Again, they're known for being a little bit more aggressive than chilies, and I would always advise kind of prodding them, not prodding, but making sure that they don't mind being touched with it, like another object rather than your hand first, because they can turn around and just munch your hand if you're going to. But these guys, I'd say, were probably a better choice than a chili. You just have to make that hair kicking stop. You've got to get them used to you as quick as possible, but it can be a long and agitating process. Now, the Brazilian black, apart from the handling, and apart from that some people don't like that black exterior, there's not really that many criticisms you can have. They're a really awesome spider, but again, that handling can be an issue for some people, but I'd say if you want one, go for it. Now, depending on financial situation, space, and just general taste, you're going to go for different things, you're going to have different preferences and different personalities that you want, but I'm not going to recommend any of them, and I'm going to leave the decision up to you. And even though this care sheet only highlights a few animals, I'm sure and I hope that it helped. Thanks for watching the video, guys. This has been a Snake Studios video. I'm SnakeHeart6613, and I just thought I'd put out a video for anyone who wants to kind of go for tarantula and is not sure what to go for. I mean, I've put out the spiders that I was recommended from when I was looking for my first spider, and I'm happy to do any care sheet video on any spider that you want. I mean, I do Metallicus Porphyris metallica, which is a more decorative but much more aggressive species of spider. I can do OBTs, which are just this horribly aggressive but an awesome species of spider just to watch and kind of not feed, because they'll go for you more than they'll go for the prey, and they're a really funny species to watch. Anyway, guys, if you want to ask any questions or if you want to know anything, just hit me up on either YouTube, as you know that you're on now. You can hit us up on our Facebook group, maybe even join. That is Snake Studios. Just search that on Facebook and you can request a membership. It's an open group. Or even hit me up on Twitter. Again, it's Snake Studios. Just type it in, hit me up. Maybe follow us if you want to get the videos posted straight to your wall. Same for the Facebook page. Thanks, guys. As I said, SnakeHeart6613. Thanks and bye.